I'm Liam.
You're right. We need the help and support from larger global communities to stop this huge issue facing us.
An organization like NATO?
Not quite. Unless we intend to force other countries to do better, we need something a little more peaceful. An organization like the United Nations that contain more countries and have more say with less harsh methods than outright warfare.
I'm Liam.
Good question. What should the UN policymakers do about these issues? The UN policymakers should create policies regarding funding for scientific research. This includes policies for climate change in local regions and how it is affecting the citizens in that area. What are potential policies that could really affect the lives of the citizens?
The UN could put limits on water and pesticide usage, and vehicle emissions that are used on a day-to-day basis by ordinary people living in the U.S.
But how do those specifically affect citizens?
Well, imagine there being a timer for how long you can shower. That would be an example of putting a limit on your water usage. Sometimes we start the shower before we actually need to start it, which is wasting water. Also, when we keep the water going while we are washing our hair, but we don't really need to have that water going until we rinse our hair.
I'm Liam.
Yes, that's right. If we had strict rules about the fuels that we emit from our cars and fireplaces, we would find another way to travel from place to place without using as much. That would probably be the change to hit us hard that would make us not want to limit ourselves.
What are some good policy recommendations that would be a good compromise that will preserve the environment but will also let us not give up bad habits?
Well, we could suggest to them to replace light fixtures or other items that use a lot of electricity with solar panels for more of the natural energy source. We could suggest to the state government to have a week once a month where we ride bikes instead of buses, trucks, and cars. We could also suggest for factories to reduce their outtake on fossil fuels or finding a way to make sure that they have a positive effect rather than a negative one.
I'm Liam.
Good question, Liam. How will countries from different parts of the world need to respond differently to these policies? Well, different parts of the world means different climate. The United States' average climate might be lower than Australia's, but the U.S. climate has raised more than Australia's climate because of the different forms of pollution.
That's right. The average climate of the country isn't the only part that matters in this equation.
But shouldn't this equation be changing?
Yes, this equation should be changing, but without the work of the people changing, the equation won't.
We hope this message helped you think about global warming and make us an impact on the world today. We're the guardians of the planet. Now it's time to go save another planet.
It's go time!
Guardians of the climate, unite!
I'm Liam.
Even though humans have done so much harm to the environment, they still have ways that we can combat the devastation that we've caused.
I'm Liam.
What can we do to turn our mistakes around?
On a personal level, you can save water, recycle, save electricity, and use less hot water. By showering for a shorter time with cold water, you can reserve water and electricity. By saving electricity and recycling, you ultimately save resources and help our environment. You can also voice concerns about global warming and encourage friends and family to do the same. It would also help if you ride a bicycle or walk rather than drive everywhere. And at the very least, carpool so that less cars are polluting the air.
I am Liam.
I see, but what can we do about global warming on a state, national, and international level?
Well, on a state level, we could work towards creating an enforcing recycling program. The kind where you separate everything into different categories of trash or recyclables, like the recycling programs in Japan. To efficiently reuse resources and work towards the effort to empty landfills and save the environment and stop global warming.
We could also do a better job of regulating local emissions from factories and manufacturing hubs in our area. For example, a new battery production plant went in recently in southern Kentucky. The state government will need to watch it closely to prevent further harm to the environment.
I am Liam.
Anything else?
You're right, we are forgetting something.
There are also things that we can do on a national and international level. The country could start imposing stricter regulations on our use of natural resources, especially the non-renewable ones like fossil fuels.
We can start trying much harder to improve our technology to make it more eco-friendly. There would be things like energy.
In order to set things in motion for an international climate protection, we first need to set an example of what needs to be. Hopefully, other countries will follow the example. Then, we can collaborate together to solve the global climate issues. We can work together to better control emissions or solve the energy issues or anything that needs to be done.
I am Liam.
But doesn't that sound too good to be true?
Well, actually, it just might be.
There are constantly creating such policies, programs, and developing personal habits to save our environment. Like financial reasons, it can be harder and more expensive to maintain such a safe our environment lifestyle. Like eating organic and buying energy efficient and environment-friendly items are more expensive. It may also not be worth it to some. Because of how expensive it is and how much time and energy it takes on us as humans to maintain our lifestyle through personal choices, it may also not be efficient as we may not always keep up with it. For policies and programs, they may end up being a waste of human and financial power, precious resources for our government. Policies and programs may be ineffective and it will be hard to enforce.
But I feel like that is also missing out on the bigger picture.
I am Liam.
That is also right. Overall policies, programs, and personal habits may be an inconvenience to us, but it isn't for our planet. By creating policies, programs, and personal habits to better our environment, we work together to create a better place for ourselves and future generations to live on.
I am Liam.
But how will this affect our economy?
Well, different industries will be affected by this change in policies, and so will consumer choices. Because we all have to make changes in how we make, buy, and use things, this will ultimately affect our economy.
That's right. It will also cause a change in social behavior and norms. It will ultimately become the norm for people to make better lifestyle decisions for the environment. So people really can't just litter or not recycle anymore. This will also have an effect on our lifestyle as we make different decisions to better our environment. We will also have to change what kind of technology we use as well.
I am Liam.
Yeah, of course, this is going to have an effect on the technology we use. We would begin by buying for environment-friendly and energy-efficient technology. And we will stop burning so many fossil fuels that are bad for our environment. Instead, we will use solar panels and electric cars. We will also have to resource the energy we use, such as less fossil fuels and use less energy to save resources.
Have you been feeling warmer than usual lately, pal? What are you talking about? I'm hot. I'm not, but global warming has been taking effect on our environment lately, and I think this is a good opportunity to be talking about this problem. Didn't you just say you didn't feel hot? That's not the point. Wow, just look at the CO2 emissions and rising temperature.
Those numbers are way too high.
I am Liam.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. In fact, the Earth is getting warmer because of global warming, and I just keep getting hotter. It's a curse, really.
I am Liam.
Why is the Earth getting warmer?
Great question. The Earth is getting warmer due to both the environment and human activities. Human activities that destroy the planet include deforestation, burning fossil fuels, and pollution.
I am Liam.
Actually, it is. Climate change is real, and it's a serious problem.
Yeah, and scientists are confident that the climate will not only continue to change, and our planet will only get warmer. The Royal Society answered the question and responded, "We are very confident that emissions continue on this present trajectory without either technological or regulatory abatement. The volume of which has already occurred with in this episode by the end of the 21st century, which essentially means that scientists are confident that the Earth will only continue to get warmer if we continue with the path we are on have the same CO2 emission rate or if it's worse?
I am Leo.
I agree, but I still don't quite understand global warming, despite all this information.
Yeah, what information is needed to help support and understand global warming better?
Great question.
Well, there's a lot of information and research that is needed for both the public and scientists to understand global warming, like the direct correlation between global warming and how it impacts our environment, especially through the weather and season, which ultimately impacts our economics as it affects different industries, such as tourism and agriculture, which impacts so many other jobs and people.
Not to forget, information to help support and raise awareness for the people as well, so we can change our own habits to better our environment.